The microphone isn't. Oh no, the microphone is connected. And then yeah, you have everything else you need. You could put your logo and everything too. So you could put House of Creators like on the bottom if you add this.
I only had a logo set up, so.
No, we could take it from Google.
Oh.
That is so freaking cool.
Can I go on Google on this or no?
I don't know. Let me see what's the guy. That's the guy behind the live streaming. Question.
Are we able to go to Google so that we could grab like her logo for her company and then watermark the video, if that's possible?
I could, do you have it on a file or?
Well, we were gonna grab it from Google Images and just save the image.
All right, yeah. Let me grab my device.
Is the video?
So ill. Send me an image about this.
In the meantime, yeah. But I mean, we're gonna record it, right?
No, yeah, I know.
It's gonna be recording.
Normally I guess people show up, but it looks like we're taking in the show. We're starting at 4:30. So the panel obviously, and then I saw the customer is going to be from 7:30 to 5:30. What time do you get done? Yeah. Last time it's kind of hard to tell people out. It's kind of hard, like, yeah, come on now, go away, please. So, during the beginning, they're going to give us 5 minutes to just kind of talk about the store. I'm going to take maybe 1 minute to do a couple of things I'm going to share. Yes, so she does AI like adoption in the fashion industry. So they think of like fashion, art, marketing for them. So one thing that we did differently from her last event, we started off a little bit later because we were having issues sending out her stuff. So we sent around up to hey, send me everything ahead of time. So anything digital assets, so that's why we sent her streaming. So we ended up putting everything on yes, because it's home stadium. Thank you for supporting. Did you see my email for the event? I set up, we're building a team. I want to be part of it.
Yeah. They I mean, this week was what? Last week? Yeah.
I want you to be part of it.
So we have meditation. She doesn't connect to her phone. She will play that song.
Okay.
I guess the right.
Yes, that's the best way to this is the space that we offer normally. Yes, and it's of no cost. Normally, it's just open to if you have a Microsoft Suite, so this meaning anybody that works for the brand, as long as they submit the request through us, and then we can just learn a little bit more about the event, and then we can host it. Yeah, so it's honestly awesome for smaller brands such as like these who are up and coming and whatnot. It's one less thing you have to worry about in terms of like the event space per se, as long as it's events that supports tech and it's just driving forward, especially right now with AI. So yeah, I do. Metal Factory event is actually one of the largest that we have. Last time we had over 100 people up here. My capacity is 75, but her event was so popping. I was like, yes. How do you know her? Okay. Oh, nice. Okay. Yes. And that's the best part about like, at least even for me with networking and events, it's like now I know speakers. If I have a different event post that needs somebody to speak to them, now I'm like, I have a LinkedIn name, I'm based the name, I can say, hey, you're looking for speakers, and that's how I connect with people. Yeah, absolutely. Yes, we could do LinkedIn, and then yeah, sure. Is it a Windows? Are you presenting? Oh, okay, good. Okay, good. Oh, okay. Up there, that device is just what you connect to. Yeah, so that's the related conversation. It's okay. It's just me. Sometimes I struggle with it. I'm like, am I even allowed to use this? Whenever you're ready. Been here for 4 years. I do. I love it. So I just started doing events for them. So I used to do marketing, mostly like visual merchandising. So I go to events now, and I think that's really up my alley. I love connecting people and just meeting different people. So we just go outside to network and stuff. So that's what really like fills my day. So when I'm doing events for the community, what do you do for them? Amazing. I think Microsoft used to have a variety of doing, and after the pandemic, we just don't have anything. I think the programs was like, I think different account managers maybe, but after this location, we don't have anything. So that's how I'm trying to live this space and being like, hey, if I offer it to the community, that's the only way.
Samia told me to talk to you.
Just like community is the heart of like your role, which with most of the yellow, everybody's thinking
We're talking. They sent me your post on the second page.
Oh, good. Yeah, right. Very nice, very cool. You started off doing the same thing, or did you kind of like what they call it? Okay.
Uzbekistan and Russian. I work with commodities trade. It's commodities trade.
Yes.
So you know the Cisco Pro initiative? Yeah, that's exactly.
Right off your alley.
Since I saw that post, I assumed it takes me
And honestly, my future in finance is looking big, this is looking promising. I can feel like this kind of went into like a customer that is
You understand? I was telling you, and like,
high net worth, making appointments with them, but everyday customer, and then
there's a lot of people that are not
small world, banking was good to me at the time, and I could honestly, like, if I wasn't doing this, I'll probably be into my private banking somewhere. Yeah, that's crazy, Right. No, that's not what it is. It's for me right now. this role is cool. However, I'm still considering the retail. I'm having interest in the retail industry, so a little bit frustrated about the role that I really didn't like. You know, I'm afraid that the role is really
It's like I have a lot of
such a retail home at 10, you know. Being in my 30s, I'm like, yo, can I get a 9 to 5? You know, that kind of stuff. I think right now I'm in the market for something new. And
well, that's why I'm here to talk, you know, because that's exactly what they do.
So this is like retail sales. At the same time, it's important, however, sometimes if you work for 5 years, you know how that starts feeling like, you know? Yes. Yes, maybe next time you come, I'll be here with you tomorrow. Yes, you will too.
Like this, wherever we go.
But I'll be kicking out. I'll be kicking out.
Sorry, no, I'm
Hi, kids. Charlie's on the same night. Beautiful.
I saw it.
Where do you live? Okay, I live in Bayonne. That's about an hour and a half. So I live in one of those apartments that have a shuttle. So a shuttle just takes you over. Yeah, so it just takes you over. Yeah, I still struggle a little bit, you know. So I think that's what makes my commute a little bit longer, just because I have to wait for the shuttle. Yeah. Otherwise, you have to go to like 4. So that's what I meant by like 5 days a week in office and having to do some music kind of stuff. Do you have to go in? Okay. Yeah. Sure, yeah. Yeah, that's yeah. And so now, for every day, yeah. So you work from home? Okay, so now oh my god. Just to be able to work in the backyard, I would love that. I love that. The whole community thing, don't get me wrong. There's more opportunities in New York and whatnot, but yeah, go with back home. It is reasonable. Yeah, so that's yes. So we'll see. I'm actively like looking right now, even on the job market right now.
There we go. Right there. And then we do here. We go image.
So they start at 5.
Browse.
Event stuff is like
What you
So on
under
the
download?
external, matter of fact, copy it there though.
Oh,
Yep.
it's right there. Yep. There we go. Money. Thank you, Mom.
On the regular copy, I'm just gonna paste it in the download so you have it in our laptop.
Let's go. Money. Thank you, man. Hell yeah.
okay, good.
Venus.
Perfect.
Thank you, man. Oh, we missed that crazy. Venus. Venus. Money.
So it's roll forward. He hasn't taken money. I haven't taken money. I need to get like 5. So right now, everybody's just kind of coming out. I know.
Good. How you doing? Good to see you. Good to see you. Good. How are you? Come here. Yeah. I mean, I need like 100,000. Something.
Oh, I thought it was, you were going to say
100,000
something
each.
crazy.
Well, 100,000
each.
each.
Yeah, but that's something, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So super excited with that, but the thing is, obviously, there's a specific caliber of people that they're looking
Partner.
for, and obviously, they're a very ethical company. Oh
No,
wait,
Viva's a bitch. Like to do. Dude, you're supposed to tell me that.
Take my number.
Shut that.
It's going. It's going. I'm just gonna bring it up.
No, but your face. You were right next to me. You're right next to me. I'm still like, no, but like,
anybody's watching though. Yeah, nobody's
that's
watching.
not the point. Is it recording? Yeah, so it's probably now. I didn't know.
Venus. So I put this here,
Oh, nice.
and you also have your website here.
I appreciate that.
And this is the website, right?
Yeah.
Or we could put it. Actually, hold up.
Yeah.
Now it's like watermarked, so even if people clip it up, at least it's like redirecting people to here.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Do you want it elsewhere or no?
I think it's good. I think it's good right here. I appreciate that. Streaming on Twitter.
Actually, just call me up. Oh, that's it.
right there,
9 years.
I guess.
That's awesome.
You'll get viral one day. I think it's gotta be like you. Actually,
I would never say I gotta take that one to the grave. In the
Somewhere else. See, I would have been mad if you were white. You know what? This is why I gotta keep my twist in.
I said I just
Malik, Kofi, Malik. That's not.
the only record he spent like $10 was Vaudeville Melody, which is that's that record. It was gray, silver, LP, blue, LP. That's the one that got spent. I haven't touched him, so he's architect
can't see the chat on here.
Start taking our seats. And we'll start taking our seats.
We're just about to get started. Time to grab the last drink, exchange contact information. We will have more networking at the end, but now we are just about to get started. How are you guys doing? I cannot hear you. How are you guys doing today? Awesome, awesome. Thank you all for coming. I know it was so hot outside. It was like 92 degrees. I was sweating on the way here. Appreciate you being here. And we also wanted to say a big thank you to the Microsoft Store for having us today. Yes, round of applause. Woo! They were, my name is Miguel. I work at Microsoft. This is Lynette and Yovan and team with the Microsoft Store. They were very kind to let us use their space today to host this event and to have all these wonderful people today. So I wanted to give it a few minutes to Lynette and team to tell you more about the Microsoft Store. Lynette?
Hello, everybody. Hello. Can I get a wave if you will? Come on. Hello in the back. That's hello. Thank you. Welcome to the Microsoft Experience Center. First time, hands up, first time. Awesome. For those who are coming back, welcome back. My name is Lynette. I'm the event manager for this location. I've been in about 4 years. Just wanted to officially welcome back Venus Rose. Some love for Venus Rose. Alright, so a little bit about the Microsoft Experience Center. We've been here for about 10 years. For those who didn't know, we've been here for about 10 years. We do offer some services on site. I'm going to let Jovan cover that a little bit. I just wanted to welcome you to the space. If you have any questions about how to reserve the space, you have to have a Microsoft sponsor just to begin with, but you can feel free to ask any of my team members questions. So again, just want to warmly invite you. Have a great time tonight. And we're here to support you, so can't wait to hear tonight's event. So I'm going to pass it on to Jovan.
Hi guys, my name is Jovan. I'm a consumer advisor here. Just want to give you a quick brief about the costs and services that we have here. First thing I'd like to say is Microsoft connects your device, apps, and everyday life so you can work, create, and stay connected anywhere. One of our offerings, of course, are our service devices, the Surface Laptop 7, a fast, reliable, protected, perfect for work and school. The Surface Pro 11, our most dynamic Surface available, is a laptop plus a tablet flexibility, great for creative work. And always, we have the Slim Pen and the keyboard attached for it. We also have Microsoft 365, Word, Excel, PowerPoint, OneNote, including the 1 terabyte of OneDrive. Most customers bundle this so that they can get a complete setup and have 1 terabyte of storage to back up everything. Our accessories, mice, chargers, USB cables, even the Xbox controllers and headsets, they complete your setup for work and play. And we also have soft goods. We have a few of them in the rear there that you can see. Hoodies, tees, hats, bags, mugs, the works. Great for gifts or personal style. And let me help you build the right setup. And if you have any questions, feel free to come to me and I'll help you pick out whatever you need before you go.
And we do get an advance discount, so if you want to purchase anything today, you let us know. Cool?
Hi everyone. My name is Venus Rose. I'm the founder of House of Creators, and I'm happy to welcome everyone to the House of Creators AI Labs Module 4. This session is a part of the House of Creators AI Labs program, which we host monthly and is designed to help the creator economy understand how to transform their ideas, content, and AI-enabled workflows into sustainable, investable businesses. The conversation will explore how creators build real revenue models, what ownerships look like in the age of AI, and how to approach capital, funding, and long-term value creation. So I'd like to introduce Isabel Guzman, the Executive Director of Ivory Foundation, Editor-in-Chief of Brain World Magazine, and Mind and Body training expert who will lead us in a 15-minute meditation session. Thank you.
Hello everyone, it's great to be here with you. I want us to now come into our bodies, and connect our minds and our bodies. First I want to thank Venus, of course, and Microsoft, of course, for hosting us, and all of you for just being here and being together. So the practice we will do is quite active. Are you okay with that? Yeah? We're going to take action. It's a somatic kind of meditation, active somatic meditation. So if it's okay with all of you, if you can put your phones and bags sort of on the back of your chair or somewhere where you can free your hands up, you can just have your hands and your arms and your legs fully available. Yeah, okay, great. And we're going to actually stand up. Okay. And you're going to bring your feet like shoulder width apart. Yeah. And just gently vibrate your body like this. And for the most part, we're going to close our eyes. It's okay. Just focus in the experience inside. Vibrating your lips and relaxing your shoulders and breathing out through your mouth. Wow, great. You're doing great. Put some music for us here. Okay, shake, shake, shake. Ooh, exhale through your mouth. Ooh. Okay. Now, let's see if this is connected. Okay, wow, you guys have amazing focus. Okay, shake, shake, shake. Your shoulders. Great. Okay, very good. Now take a deep breath in and breathe out. Good. Can we grab our hands together? In and then stretch up. Your spine with both hands. Stretch, stretch, make it longer, longer, longer. Reach up to the sky. Very good. And slowly return, breathe out. Very good. Keep your eyes closed. Just listen to my voice. Open your shoulders like this. One. Careful with each other. Great, great, great job. You're doing great. 4. Okay, other way. 1. 2. 3. And 4. Very good. Okay, close your eyes. Bring your chin down. Stretch the back of your neck. Great. And now rotate your neck. Breathing out and focus on your neck. So what's important is you bring your mind to your neck. Okay, breathe out. Other direction. One, 2, and 3. Very good. Okay, our hips lift. Let's stretch forward. And rotate. Make a big circle. Keep your eyes closed. Now focus on your hips. Bring your eyes to your hips. You're doing great. 2. 3. Very good. Other way. 1. Amazing. Open your mouth. 2. 3. Okay, great. Shake that. Shake, shake, shake. Okay, now we're going to do whole body tapping. Ready? So with your fingers, starting with the top of your head. Top of your head. Now imagine you have like eyes on your fingertips. So you want to actually feel the inside of your body, like a vibration. This is all your nervous system. Okay, breathe out. Tapping, tapping, the top of your head. Tapping, tapping. Exhale. Okay. Exhale. Breathe out. And smile a little bit. Smile. Your brain loves when you smile. Okay. Sides of your brain. Good. Amazing. You're doing so well. Focus on the feeling, the impact of this tapping. Good. Now the back of your brain. Back of your brain. As you exhale. Exhale. Use your breath. Good. Now your forehead. This is your 6th chakra. Open. Let's open it. Everybody's so bright. Actually, I can see. Very good. Your cheeks. Cheeks. We have a lot of tension on our face. Let's breathe it out. Good. Your jaw. Relax your jaw. Amazing. Amazing. Okay. And now your chin. And anywhere your fingers want to go, just give you 10 seconds. Tap all over your face, all over your brain. Your brain. It's like refreshing, exhaling all the stagnant energies. Okay, now with your palm open on your chest. Now feel your lung inside. Breathe out. Feel the chest inside. It's all energy. Okay, is that if you're carrying any stress from today, this is the time. Breathe it out. From yesterday, maybe 10 years ago, you can take it out. Yeah, your choice. Okay, shoulder, 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 and tap your way down your arm. These are all your energy channels. So just tapping and breathing, you're opening. Yes. And then inside the arm. Good. Back to the center. Switch to the other shoulder. Keep your concentration. Keep your eyes closed. Yes. Down the arm. And up the inside. Good. And then tap your chest with both hands. Now don't be shy. I want you to make a sound now. Sound is also energy, okay? All together. Breathe in. Breathe in and your turn, your turn. good kick. Good kick. Keep going, keep going. Bounce your knees a bit. Yes, this is third chakra. Okay, your gut, gut. Very connected to your brain. Tap, tap, like a drum. Breathe out. Okay, your hip joints. And the lower back, lower back. Who has lower back pain? Okay, down your legs, down your legs. We're almost there. And inside your legs, tap your way out. Okay, just hold it back and hold body. Okay, now wherever your hands want to go, 10 seconds, 10 seconds. Tap, 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 tap. Yes, wherever your intuition takes you, close your eyes. Just tap. Okay. And then squeeze like that. Squeeze, squeeze down. Oh. Okay, please have a seat. Okay. Your back straight. And your hands on your knees. Okay. Take a deep breath in. And a deep breath out. Deep breath in. And deep breath out. So when you breathe in, focus on the top of your head. Top of your head. Top of your head. And when you breathe out, imagine you receive air and energy through your head. And you're sending it down your spine. All the way to the base of your spine. As you breathe out, it becomes like a line of energy. Very clear. Breathe in. Again through your head. Breathe out through your mouth. And let your hands rest on your knees, facing up. If you can, bring the back off the chair. Keep it straight. Breathe in. And breathe out. Breathe in. And breathe out. And breathe out. Okay, keep focusing on the vibrations in your body. Slowly raise your hands a few inches from your knees and focus on your hands. Focus on the feeling in your palms. Now imagine also energy coming into your hands. And have them face each other and start to come closer. Bring them closer and closer. Focus on this space. You might have some sensation. Very close but without touching. And slowly pull them away from each other again. Feel this energy between your hands. Slowly closer again. Put all your focus there. Now with your left hand, move like a wheel. Like this, keep feeling this energy. Allow your brain to relax. Okay, now switch. Now with your right hand. And slowly open again. Now with your hands facing forward, and connect to everybody else in the room. It becomes like one energy. Feel your feet in your hands, breathing in and breathing out. Let any blockages come out through your body. And breathe in. And breathe out any tension inside. And one last time, breathe in. And breathe out. Slowly bring your hands towards your center, your gut, your core. And rest your hands there. Feel the warmth. Feel your centeredness in your core. Breathing in and out. In, out. And one more time. In and out. Breathe. Now sweep down your chest. And sweep down your arms, your legs, and rub your hands together. Good. And captain time. Rub again. And cover this area, your eyes. And open your eyes and breathe into your brain. Nice. In, out, in, lots of light into your brain, out. And in and out. Breathe and sweep. Your bright, amazing, powerful brain and your heart. Great job. Wow, you did amazing. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful discussion.
Thank you so much, Isabel. Okay, so I hope you all enjoyed that. This is a great addition to, it's also Mental Health Awareness Month. I'd like to next introduce our keynote speaker, Paralee Knight, who is the Vice President of Philanthropy and Community Impact at Wells Fargo.
Good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Happy Mental Health Awareness Month, Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month, Jewish American Heritage Month, and National Military Appreciation Month. It is certainly good to be here with all of you today. I'm looking forward to the discussion and the conversations that will take place. Thank you so much to Venus Rose and the House of Creators for having me. Thank you so much to Microsoft. Let's give them a hand again for hosting us here tonight. As Venus said, my name is Paralee Knight, and my daytime gig is Vice President of Philanthropy and Community Impact at Wells Fargo. But over the years, I've also been a creator in the capacity of songwriting and producing, artist development, brand management, image consulting, and I've served on or chaired a few committees and various boards of nonprofits. And so through those experiences, I have a lens of perspective that I'm looking forward to sharing with you here tonight. But first, I think it's also very important to state openly here the recognition of the climate that we're in. Civil rights protections are being insidiously dismantled in real time, trying to focus and to build while living through constant social, political, and economic instability is heavy. And that takes intentional grace with yourself to move through it. And make no mistake, we will move through it because we have no other choice. But to rest when we need to, but to also push forward because we have to, for our very survival is truly at hand. And now, eat more chicken. Years ago, I was in college in a marketing and advertising class where my professor used Chick-fil-A as a branding example of her mantra, when you speak clearly to your audience, everyone else will overhear it. And now back in those times, we were studying traditional ways to utilize visualize and grow a brand's visibility through perhaps commercials or product logo imaging or direct customer experience. Whether or not you're a Chick-fil-A fan, you have a good understanding of them because of how clearly they speak to their audience. And as we evolve and we've seen the boom of independent brands and influencers and creators, the foundation and the building blocks of the frequency audience still remains the same, but the terms of engagement and the opportunities to progress, specifically for creators and entrepreneurs, has grown tentacles to the likes of which we've never seen before. So tonight, I want to focus on a simple but powerful idea here. Sustainable pathways for creators and entrepreneurs are not built on visibility alone, but they are built on the intersection of community, of access, and of capital. And when these three elements align, we move beyond short-term wins to build systems that create lasting and scalable opportunities. So for a long time, we've thought about community as an audience, a group of followers or viewers or subscribers, but today, community is something much more powerful. It's an asset. Community is infrastructure, and it drives three critical outcomes. Number one is distribution. This is where community becomes the channel. When trust exists, opportunities tend to spread more organically through relationships, through referrals, and shared credibility. And this kind of distribution isn't rented, it's owned, and it's far more resilient. The second critical outcome that community drives is retention. This is where community becomes the reason that people stay. People don't stay anymore just because of a product alone. They stay because of identity. They stay because of belonging. They stay because of connection. And we've all seen this. So for example, I'm a huge Beyonce fan. I love Beyonce's music, and I spent a nice amount of money on that lady's concerts. Now, does that make me a member of the Beehive? Perhaps. But the community of the active Hive members, and y'all know the ones, some of y'all may be in here, you know the ones when Lemonade dropped, and if someone had anything negatively to say about Mrs. Carter, they were in those comments writing dissertations using bee emojis and lemon emojis to the tune of be lemon, 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 be lemon. That is not just engagement. That's identity. That's community. When someone sees themselves as a part of something, they don't just show up, they commit. Now, the third critical outcome that community drives is monetization. Community becomes the value engine here. And this is where strong communities don't just feel transactional, they create pathways for memberships, for events, for products, for partnerships, and most importantly, they generate continuous value and not just one-time transactions. But let's be very, very clear, not all communities are at all equal. And what really separates high-value communities from low-value ones is culture. Now, culture is not just what you say, it's what you reinforce. So if you think about culture in terms of even some groups that we may not be too fond of, these very things still apply. Culture defines who belongs. It defines what behaviors are rewarded. It defines how people create value together. And in high-performing communities, members learn from each other. Opportunities circulate organically, and contribution is not just expected. It is expected, it's not optional. And that's when a community stops being an audience and becomes an ecosystem. So now let's talk a little bit about capital, because that's always a hot topic, because this is where many people often get stuck. And I think too often success is measured alone by income. But income is only one form of capital. There are actually three. First is the most clear one, which is cash flow, which is short-term income from things like maybe brand deals or consulting and sponsorships, which are great because they pay today, but they don't necessarily build long-term leverage. Then there's also equity, ownership in something that can grow in value and something that has a future upside. And then there's also ownership, which is control over assets like your brand, your product, your platform, and your data. And that determines who captures value over time. But the key distinction is that cash flow sustains you, but that ownership scales you. And that leads to a very critical decision for creators and entrepreneurs typically, which is, do you want to rent attention or do you want to own a relationship? Brand deals and sponsorships have value, and they provide early revenue and visibility, but they come with limits. They depend on constant output. They're controlled by external partners, and they don't necessarily create lasting assets. And at some point, there's a shift that has to happen if there's growth toward building products and platforms, and programs and systems, things that convert attention into ownership. Because ownership is what turns influence into long-term wealth. So here's the reality that I'm sure most of the folks in the room either know about or face, which is that even when creators and entrepreneurs are building real value, many still struggle to access capital. And as a funder, I see this all the time. And so the issue is not typically because there's no value with those who are seeking capital, but I think it's more because the folks who are seeking capital aren't always presented in ways that capital itself understands. Because the truth of the matter is, capital is not just something that people are looking for. Believe it or not, capital is actually looking for something. Capital looks for clarity. Capital looks for repeatability. It looks for ownership. But unfortunately, many creators are perceived as, notice I said perceived as, not are, but are perceived as inconsistent or individual dependent, or they're perceived as being tied to platforms that they don't control. And sometimes that is the case. And that's a perception that creates an access gap. So then how do we close that gap? Well, to close that gap, there are 3 shifts that matter. Number 1, clarifying what you're building. What is the asset? How does it grow? Who actually owns it? Number 2, excuse me, showing the system. So that's not just showing our audience, but moving beyond a follower account to demonstrate engagement, demonstrating conversion and retention and revenue pathways. Then number 3, building for strategic capital, because the right capital brings more than money. It brings distribution, credibility, infrastructure, because the goal is not just funding, it's alignment with the right kind of growth. And this is where everything comes together, because community creates opportunity, capital enables growth, but infrastructure determines who actually captures the value. And your infrastructure is your systems, it's your partnerships, it's your governance, it's data control, because without it, value leaks through the cracks, but with it, value compounds. And most importantly, it becomes scalable beyond just any one person. And this is the progression that defines long-term success, moving from a creator who produces content or services to an operator who builds systems and repeatable processes to an owner who controls assets that generates value over time. But this shift does not happen by accident. It requires intention. And it requires building systems instead of just reacting to opportunities. It requires building assets instead of just chasing income. And it requires making decisions based off of long-term value and not just short-term gain. So I'll leave you with this. If we want to build sustainable pathways, especially for those who have been historically underfunded or overlooked, we have to move from just participation to ownership. Ownership of our communities that we're building, ownership of our products and relationships and outcomes. And we have to always ask the question, not just what are we building, but who is actually benefiting from what we're building, and almost more importantly, who owns it when it succeeds. Because when community, access, and capital align, they don't just create opportunity, they create systems that sustain opportunity. And the opportunity in front of us all is not small, because we're not just supporting creators and we're not just funding programs, we're actually trying to build an infrastructure for the next economy. And that's an economy where community drives distribution, where culture drives engagement, and where capital supports ownership and opportunity is built and not just borrowed. So let's be intentional, let's build systems and not just moments, and most importantly, let's build what we can own. Now, considering all that I just shared with you, you can have all of the knowledge in the world, but because I'm a creator, as well as a person who works in the corporate space, I know all too well how heavy things can get sometimes in both of those worlds. And I've been in a lot of rooms with a lot of high-profile people and folks who seem to have it all together. And I've learned that the packaging of people don't always indicate what the truth of their internal reality is or what they're going through. And so just in case there's someone in here tonight who needs to hear this, before I take my seat, I want to end this talk where I started, in the space of recognition of the truths of the world around us. But I want to leave you with calming truths that I'm quoting from We the Urban via Instagram, where they kindly remind us that there are still people who care. There are still people choosing love. There are still people resisting cruelty. There are still people with kind hearts. There are still people teaching truthfully. There are still people fighting for justice. There are still people organizing locally. There are still people choosing humanity. There are still people trying. You have life. You have music. You have nature. You have your lungs. You have your heartbeat. You have your smile. You have a roof over your head. You have people who love you. You have hard-earned wisdom. You have people that you inspire. You have growth to be proud of. You have sunlight. You have the chance to try again. You have a beautiful future. as Frankie, Beverly, and Mays eloquently stated in their song Happy Feelings, I have myself to remind me of love. Listen, doing your best looks different every single day, and that's really, really okay. I thank you all so much for sharing this time with me tonight. God bless you.
Thank you so much, Paralee. That was beautiful. I'd like to next welcome our panelists, starting with Calvin Otis, the VP of Startup Banking for Silicon Valley Bank, who has experience in advising high-growth companies, startups, and founders on fundraising, capital strategy, and scaling businesses. Give a round of applause for Calvin. Next, we have Ilyas Anwar, the CEO of Anwar Family Enterprises, also a marketing executive, helping brands and technology companies drive audience growth, customer acquisition, and digital relevance. Give a round of applause for Ilyas. And last but not least, we have Anuj Gupta, who is an attorney and the founder of Water Law, operating at the intersection of technology and media, advising legal strategy, innovation, and emerging digital ecosystems. All right, so moving into the panel conversation, I want to ask the audience two questions. How many of you are currently building something? Very good. How many of you are scaling and raising capital currently? Okay, nice. So this event is about the creator business model, IP, and capital. Creators are evolving into founders and operators, while AI is accelerating both opportunity and complexity. I'll start off with asking the panelists 2 questions each to develop the conversation, and then we'll open it up to the audience where I'll allow you guys to also engage. And yeah, I'll pick someone to do a follow-up question. I guess we can probably judge also who raises their hand first. Okay, so starting with Ilyas, what separates a creator from a creator-led business?
That's a good question. I guess I could give an example like, does anybody here know Gwen Blackwell or Tana Mojo? We'll give that as an example, because I feel like we got a very well-rounded crowd. I'm sure a lot of people know them as personalities. There's a difference between them as a creator and getting paid with like brand deals or getting paid to do activations and opportunities. And then there's a difference when they have like a consumer product. Let's say like a affordable like little wine can or something along the lines of like what Mr. Beast is doing with like Feastables. That's a business versus Mr. Beast. Feastables, the chocolate, is not a creator, right? And I think that's the biggest difference in what makes the best creators is the people who are also building businesses. So somebody from the crowd, just to give a specific example, you know, there's Alston Pugh that's a creator, and then there's Iovo, which is the luxury home speaker container. I'm getting it right? Yeah, and then we got to shout him out too. Stand up real quick for Alston. Let's give a round of applause. So he's a creator, and has a creator-led business, and he's filming his vlogs and showcasing his product, and going to China and speaking to manufacturers, and coming back to America, and then linking up with musicians, celebrities, investors, et cetera, et cetera.
Okay, one more for you. What revenue models are actually working today?
Look, I'm not the tell-all be-all, but from what I've at least seen from my experience, and I don't want to lead people astray, I think the one, at least perspective that works really well is like a consumer product, because if you are a creator, you're naturally going to be around people all the time, or you're going to be at an event. And so, for example, if I were up here right now, and if I were a good creator founder, I would have a consumer product with me in my hand. So that way when people see it, not only in the crowd, but on the Twitch stream, the people who are recording right now, that are going to be putting it on their stories. So I guess that's the biggest differentiator.
All right, stepping to Anuj. How should creators think about IP when using AI tools?
That's a dangerous topic. AI is AI, right? I think everyone knows that there's very little protection if you use AI in any of the products that you create. So you shouldn't use it if you are going to have any sort of protection, or if you're looking for protection, it's likely not going to be a great asset or a resource to use. What I recommend clients, or if anyone asks me, use that as a way to learn about an area, an industry, the initial product, right? What you're looking, your competitors. Use that as your basis, and then use your own resources, right? When we didn't have AI, we were still creating products. Go back to that time, 2 years ago, and use that as that resource. But use AI in the early stages.
One more question. What are the biggest legal mistakes being made right now?
There's a lot. I guess we could go through a lot of different things, but specifically for creators or creator-led businesses, I think if we just go down to the basics, it's first off, not protecting your IP, right? A lot of folks get into business with their friends or partners and they're like, great, we're buddies, we're gonna work together. They don't have the proper documentation up front. And when everything is going great, it's going great. And when it's not going great, that's when the issues arise, and then you're like, well, who owns the IP, right? That's the biggest mistake. Second, make sure to get a trademark, right? I've seen oftentimes clients that do not get trademarks for their businesses because there's obviously an expense to that. It takes time. The USPTO's office can take sometimes up to a year to grant you your trademark. But then you created a brand around this word or mark or whatever, and then you realize someone else is using it, and what happens then? You have to change your name, right? So all those marketing dollars that you've now spent, you're gonna have to re-spend, or you're gonna have to try to negotiate with this other party that now knows that you want this mark. And the last thing is that folks just don't create their own businesses and LLCs. They try to use, sole proprietorships, which is just them doing this business, and they're not protecting themselves at all, right? The point of an LLC is a limited liability company. You're protecting your own personal assets. Very easy to do. You don't even need a lawyer to create an LLC. You can go online. There's hundreds of businesses out there that will help you create that for $50, $200. Do that. Or if you're just a creator taking on brand deals, don't ever get paid as an individual. I know accountants. You should talk to your accountant or tax person. But there's a lot of potential ways that you can mitigate your liability and have tax savings if you run everything through your LLC. Or sometimes it's called a loan app as well.
Okay, very nice. Those are some gems. All right, let's step.
By the way, this is not legal advice.
Okay, so going to Calvin.
Take it easy on it.
Okay. So when should a business actually consider raising capital?
Yeah, well, it varies. I think that's a tough one, but I think a lot of times, at least at SVB, we see companies come to us and they're like, hey, we're ready for VC capital, we're ready to pour gasoline on the fire, ready to accelerate. And a lot of times they're not really there yet. I would really recommend kind of building and, like the keynote said, like maintaining ownership until you're really ready to like turn it into a rocket ship. Because when you take on equity, you have a new boss, you have less ownership of the product that you're creating, and you're able to, if you're raising debt or friends and family around, you're able just to hold on for a little bit longer and kind of decide where you want to take the vision 6, 12, 18 months down the road. So I would say hold off on equity until you're really ready and really lean into equity providers that are able to provide things outside of capital, whether that's introductions, brand relationships, and things of that nature, because not all money is good money, and you'll be surprised how fast they're selling you one time, and then 6 months later, they're not ready to fund again, or they're not really picking up your phone or text messages. So just make sure that you're leaning in on the right resources.
All right, very good. So one more. What signals do investors look for that creators might miss?
Oh, I think one thing that investors really look for is, I would say, like business acumen and just showing up on time and being prepared and understanding why you're having the conversation. I think a lot of times people want to talk to a VC or to an early stage investor, but they don't know what they want out of that conversation. So just coming prepared, whether it's the right time to build that relationship, or it's always the right time to build a relationship, but whether it's the right time to take on that financing now or you're trying to build that bridge for 12 months down the road, know what you want to get out of the conversation, and also following up is something that a lot of, it's not just creators, but just founders across the board don't do. So I'd say like keep people apprised of the progress that you're making. Every big win, I would say like kind of put out a monthly, or maybe monthly is a little too frequent, but maybe a quarterly update that you're able to provide investors and just friends, just keeping them apprised of your growth and what you're leaning into. So I think you never know like where connections can take you, and it might connecting to one investor might lead you to another investor conversation that actually the capital that you want. So I'd say like staying organized and knowing what you want out of the conversations.
Okay, thank you for those gems. All right, so now we're gonna start a segment where I'm gonna ask a question, and I'm gonna allow one or two people from the crowd to do a follow-up question. So, the first question, this is for all of you. What mindset shift is required to build something scalable?
I love this one because I think it ties in a little bit to the mental health topic that we had earlier, even with like meditation. I think the creator game is not really about, you know, who's the most talented. It's like you have to be like a cockroach in the game. You have to be here for a very long time. You look at somebody like Kai Cenat, he was making Facebook skits when he was like 16 years old. That was a long time ago, but he was still here. And so then when the opportunity arose for somebody like him to be able to go fully into Twitch and take over, it had to be a lot of long nights and shedding the idea of, oh, all my hometown friends see me posting on TikTok and I pop up on their For You page, and now they see me in a meditation class and I'm on the TikTok For You, I'm so embarrassed. But if you get past that mentality where you stop caring about what the people around you think and you just keep going until the opportunity meets you, I truly, genuinely believe that anybody can be successful as long as they give it enough time. You know, for me it might take 30 years, but I'll be here for those next 30 years. But you might be super lucky and you're great and I love your speech. She could be viral tomorrow. You know, she's gonna have billions and billions of followers. But for everybody, you know, it's a different journey. And I think a lot of people, as cliche as it sounds, they think, oh my God, I saw Alston, he got 1 million views. I don't have 1 million views. And you have to get rid of that mentality and just realize that you're going at your own pace. And when you go at your own pace, that's how you properly scale.
Yeah, okay. I would just say, you know, we get hundreds of brand deals across our desk that we review for clients, and those are fantastic, and our clients love these brand deals, right? They're making $10,000, $20,000, $100,000. The ones that succeed and the ones that, the longevity that comes out of it are the ones that look at that brand deal and they say, hey, how am I going to take that brand deal and make this in a larger business? How am I looking at my brand, not just for this one brand deal, but how am I building that business beyond it, right? And those are the ones, in my opinion, are the ones that succeed and have succeeded, right? And then they start building businesses out of it, right? They're not just taking these one-off brand deals and saying, hey, that's a win. They're saying, hey, let's take that one brand deal. There's this cool niche that I've created. How do we build a business out of that? And then what is my revenue diversification from that too, right? What are other products or other things that I can do that, you know, my clients or customers would be attracted to, or my audience, right? And that's where you build that community that you mentioned, right? That's the bread and butter, and that's really where you get to start to make money, but also create your own specific niche community.
I would just say one big thing is resilience. I think what you see on Instagram or on TechCrunch or on LinkedIn is wins. Everyone's wins all the time, but you don't see how long or how many no's it took to get to that yes. And I would say my sister is good friends with Z-Way, who's a creator, and she had a show on Showtime. You know, it wasn't renewed, but she found ways to kind of reinvent herself and stay resilient. It is now more successful than ever. So that's just something I see in creators that are successful, is just being resilient despite the no's, despite all the hard work and the headaches. And obviously mental health month is key for a lot of people in this room, because it is hard to kind of show up to that every time, and you know, you're not getting a hit for every time you're swinging. So I'd say staying resilient and like leaning into the community when you're not feeling that strong is something that I see a lot of successful people do within the space.
Okay, we're gonna open the space up for questions. I got you.
So I've got a question in relation to scaling and IP protection, because I understand the IP protection is using different LLM tools to, like DDR, compliance, to protect your IP from being used, but in reverse, how would you protect, especially when you have other coders, other people using it, how would you protect IP claims that you were using an AI or an LLM that might have used trained data from another app in your development?
So you're saying if someone else claims that you used AI in creating your product or whatever that you created, how do you argue that you didn't use it?
Yeah, or like if you're protecting your IP from being trained on, I understand that, but from the training data, how do you say like your IP is original if you're using trained data for different parts of your app?
That's a good question. I don't have a great answer. I guess it's not really come up in that reverse. But I'm sure that is a question that people think of. I think the only way that I would respond if a client asked me that as well, again, not legal advice, I would probably say, right, all you can in a contract, if I was to go very legalese, you have to do something called representation and warranties, reps and warrants. You're repping and warranting that everything that you're providing is, free and clear, you haven't used any other agentic AI models, anything like that, and you're literally stating that in the contract. So if for whatever reason the other party finds out that you did, then you've breached your agreement, right? So you're standing by your own words when you sign that contract, when you rep and warrant, hey, this is all original IP. The only other thing I guess you could do is also, document and audit your own self when you're creating your code or IP to say, hey, this is everything I've created and not inputted this into AI models.
Would architecture count as that?
Yeah, exactly, yeah. So you could do that as well. So that would be the only way to also state that. But it's an interesting question if someone starts questioning you, hey, I think you used AI, and what do you do in that instance? The more documentation you have to say you didn't use it and that you repped and warranted it, is the way that I would approach it, at least for now. I'm sure that could be a really interesting business model too, right? So to help people protect and tell them that, hey, this is like guaranteed stamp that this AI has not been used or
It's
something.
like I architected it, but I don't write Swift. I do back-end engineering, but it's like I don't write Swift logic. That's where I got a little about IP ownership.
Yeah, but yeah, I would respond that way, right? Reps and warranties, and then documenting your architecture or whatever in any different kind of correspondence. Especially for people that are writing scripts, it's really important that you don't input that into AI models, just because a lot of that can be used to train other models. So then, the question is, was your original base or your underlying kind of story architecture or story arcs used in AI, or did you get that from AI? And then it becomes a whole open mess. Then if you created additional characters after that, what happens in that instance? So a lot of my writing clients or script writers, I always tell them, do not put anything into AI.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm gonna go back to Elias. What is one growth strategy that works today? And then I'll open up to the audience for follow-up.
I'm gonna give an answer that works well for me. This is probably not the most scalable thing, but I think, especially when you're throwing events or you're building a community, whether it be through an event, whether it be through like a Discord call, and if you're a Twitch streamer, or if you're a beauty influencer, or what have you, like directly communicating with your audience and giving them like a great experience, or just giving them value, and just being a good person and showing up to people. Like, a lot of people will throw an event, but look at Venus. She's like running around, and the reason why I keep specifically like giving examples is because I want people to see like the human manifestation of that, not just giving like advice, but like you can now picture a person with that. And I think the biggest thing is like just helping people out. In the beginning, when you help somebody out, if you help 100 people out, 100 people will not help you back out, but there might be 10 people, and those 10 people that will ride for you will outperform the 100 people, even if they helped you out minimally. I'm seeing some of those people sitting here supporting me right now at this event, and I haven't seen them in months, but I'm like, hey, come out to this event. But if you want me to give more technical like growth, I would say the best thing is to collaborate with other communities. Or other creators. So hypothetically, if I was, somebody give me an example of a type of creator. What type of creator are you guys? Throw it out there, don't be shy.
Music.
You're a musician? Okay, so I'm sure you know of another musician that you want to collaborate with, right? But obviously with collaboration, there has to be intentionality. Like a lot of people just do a collaboration just for the sake of it. And you can see past the ingenuity. You guys are smarter than me. Ingenuity, is that the right word? I'm here on the panel, I can't even say it. There we go. So the idea is like, look at even like shorts when you go on like YouTube. If you see a bunch of AI clips, you're like, oh my God, I'm sick of this. Like it's all fake, it's not real. And a lot of people are longing for in-person connection now. Yes, that is true about some of the AI stuff, and you can still make great use of it in other aspects. But specifically for making content, I think when there are also people doing collaborations, there's a way of making it feel like collab slop. Like you're just doing it for the sake of doing it. We don't have an aligned mission. You don't believe in my story, I don't believe in your story. No, like, what type of music do you make? R&B, so I'm sure there's a bunch of other cool R&B artists out here in New York City that you know of, or that your friends know of. And if they have a big audience and you genuinely like making music with them, I'm sure that you're going to be able to grow off that. And that's at least what helped me growing my community in my newsletter. I started throwing events, and I started collaborating with other people that had the same exact vision of what I wanted with events. And now I'm standing here with 50,000 people on my newsletter. And that wouldn't have happened if I didn't collaborate with people. And so that helped me do that in about a year and a half.
Great, Jen. Is there any questions from the audience? Follow-up questions? Oh, you?
Let's shout out your music too. This is an opportunity for you to promote what you're doing. Tell everybody who you are. You don't have to sing. I'm not one of those guys like, oh, comedian, tell me a funny joke. No, you don't have to sing. Just promote your business. Tell everybody who you are.
Hey everybody, how y'all doing? My name is Kalia Stapleton. My Instagram is KAY Never Stops. Nothing to do with Kanye. The music that I do is R&B. Of course, everybody wants to talk about they sound like the greats, but I do get compared a lot to Jill Scott and a bit of Erykah Badu, so I have that feel for my music. I also have a business, K&S Consulting and Design. I help businesses establish their SOPs, their branding, internal and external voices and personas, so if y'all need anything of that, please talk to me. And I'm gonna turn around so I can ask the question now. Okay, so you were speaking about community, and one of the things which is very funny that you said, I'm sure you know a lot of artists, that is something that I struggle with, only because in the music industry recently, it feels that it's a bit harder to be authentic because it is a lot about how you're perceived when you do that. So I guess my question is, do you have any advice on trying to connect with people when it starts out virtually and then you're in person and it's different, right? Like there's a different person than when it is virtual versus in person. Not catfishing, but different personalities, like it's not meshing, because you were also referencing that you can tell when it's like collaboration slop, like making those collaborations authentic, but there's still an instance of, I know this is gonna be mutually beneficial.
On to the next. I think you should focus on the people that you have a genuine connection with. Just keep putting yourself out there, go to more events, and reach out to people that you do like. Like I think another thing is, like sometimes we underestimate the power that we have within ourselves whenever we do outreach. So you might look at a creator and be like, oh my God, they have 1 million followers, they'll never respond to me. A lot of these creators are always looking at their messages. Like if you truly have a good opportunity or if you have a good profile and they actually resonate with your music, they will reach out and want to work with you. But if you don't have a genuine connection with somebody and you don't want to work with them, you don't have much time to make the decision on wasting your time with somebody like that. Even if it is mutually beneficial, I think you're better off just focusing on somebody that is worth your time and energy and going further with those relationships rather than trying to spread yourself too thin. And then maybe even shooting your shot, like DMing a couple people that you might think are dope to work with, or even the people around them.
Some of the biggest clients that I work with, I literally just cold reached out to them on DMs and said, I really like your work, and if you ever need any help, let me know. And if you just even want to talk, that's it, and I'm happy to help. So never underestimate the power of just DMing someone. Like, you have nothing to lose. They're not going to respond, that's it. That's it. And that's what I thought about too when I messaged some folks, and now they've become clients for years of mine, and we've done some really good business together.
Add to that is like leaning into the reciprocity. Like sometimes the relationship might not be for you and there might not be that opportunity to connect, but you just mentioned all the things that you do and just like, hey, great meeting you, let's follow up, I would look into this, if I were you, and just like drop it up like that. Because you want everyone in your corner, but you don't have to be working with everyone simultaneously. So it's like a way to add value and then kind of like let it be. Yeah.
Yeah, I think to follow up on all of that, like to focus on the people in the community that welcome you. I think that's most important, that embrace you. Okay, so back to Calvin. One thing that a creator should do before approaching an investor.
Oh, I guess we kind of talked about this, is just like being prepared and knowing what you want. And I think that goes for a lot of conversations just in general. I think like to start out my career, someone would be like, hey, you should meet XYZ, the CFO of this or the CEO of that. And you're like, okay, great. And then like you end the meeting, they're like, what do you want from me? And you're like, what? I didn't really think about that. So just like know what you want from those conversations and be prepared. I think is the biggest thing. And then if you're not ready for the capital ask, maybe asking them to make an introduction to you about with someone within their network, just so you can continue to expand and the conversation doesn't stop there, but you follow up with them, 6 months from now and be like, hey, I'm continuing the conversation with XYZ person, this is the direction that it's going. So just like knowing what you want to get out of the conversation or knowing how to like buy time until you're ready for that moment, I think is key.
The only other thing I would add is that would be the initial ask. I think when you know and you realize you are going to get an investment, it's really important to have all of your legal compliance and documents together before you go for that ask or you're about to get that money. My colleague here is here as well, who does all of our corporate work. We always run into trouble with clients that have come in, they're like, we're about to get $1 million. Can you take a look at all of our documents and let us know if they all look good? And most times they're not. And then we have to go through this whole entire fixing up process and advising our clients, the way to set up your cap table, the way that these folks are going to come on your cap table through a safe note or whatever, and what that process looks like. And it can become very math heavy, unfortunately, as well. And at the same time, it can become very complex, and it takes some time. So, you also don't want to lose interest with your investors, but you also have to make sure everything is set up appropriately. And that's part, I think you had mentioned, the sophistication and just coming into a room knowing the business side is really important as much as the creative side. So just being aware of that is really important when you're about to take an investment.
Yeah, just to add to that, like having a data room or having a pitch deck or having your legal, maybe you haven't signed a legal team yet, but having that prepared is all part of the process, because that's the worst thing is like, hey, we want to give you $2 million, but then they look under the hood and there's nothing really there yet. So I think that's great advice too.
Any follow-up questions from the audience? Okay, all right.
Can we just give a round of applause to our panelists? How you guys doing? Good afternoon. Good afternoon. My name is Jiggy Jones. My question is, what are some emerging either tools or things that creators should be looking out for? Of course, everything is evolving daily, digitally. Is there something specific, just one from each of you, that you think that each creator should be looking out for as far as like anything emerging just in the digital landscape?
I think a good one would be Fireflies. So it's basically like an AI note taker. So whenever you're having meetings, you can basically connect it to your email and then like connect Claude. So if you guys look at Fireflies AI, it's FIREFLIES AI. I'm not getting paid by them, which they should. But anyways, I would solely focus on that because having a note taker is great, especially when you're a creator and you're starting off. Some people might not have representation or management, and being able to show up professionally and being able to follow up with an email with all the action items, the next steps, and then using Claude to come up with maybe a one-pager or a deck to follow up, just so it looks like you have a manager. If you want to take it the extra level, make a fake email, management@venusrose.com, and you can pretend to be her manager and then reach out on your own behalf. But I think those are the two that I would recommend.
I don't have any specific ones other than, I'm probably one of the few lawyers that would probably say, like, you should use AI, right? It's maybe not worth a lawyer's time or your time or your money for an initial review. You should put it into AI, right? AI is not leaving or going away, so there's no reason not to use it. So if you're looking for quick kind of guidance, if you can't afford a lawyer, definitely at least ingest it into AI to get some guidance, right? They're gonna at least give you something. We have often found that there have been issues, so I always recommend having a lawyer review it. But if you cannot afford a lawyer or don't have the capacity or resources and you need to sign the deal immediately, at least put it into AI to get some good guidance there. So just Claude or ChatGPT or whatever.
There's an AI infrastructure company called Stand With Me that's really good for creators, STAN with me. I think Jonathan Hughes, the CEO, and they've been doing a really good job of creating the infrastructure needed to kind of build your brand and businesses. So I would take a look at that one too for the creators in the room.
Any other questions from the audience?
Hello, how you guys doing? Hello, everybody. Thank you for everything that everybody has said so far. Just sitting here listening, taking notes. I'm wondering, this is an AI panel, AI kind of understanding and something that people are putting knowledge out there for us to understand. But in comparison to the wave of like AI psychosis, I can look up all these programs all day. I can put my general ideas into it, but when it comes to creation from the beginning, sometimes people have talent, sometimes there's something so shiny, so bright, people are like, yo, invest into that, build that. You know, there's world building, and then there's like where you go into your own world and develop from also within. How do you feel about spending so much time and energy going to these AI tools in comparison to diving into some realistic breakdowns, realistic business models, things that are already there, in comparison to me typing in ChatGPT, hey, I have an idea, what do you think about this idea? And then ChatGPT optimistically tells me, hey, your idea is brilliant, continue down this path, you'll find out everything you need to know. And then at the end, you know, some people don't find out those answers, but what do you guys think about that?
I would say like that's like the most impressive thing about the creators in the room is like you guys are actually bringing it to life. I've asked ChatGPT and Claude a million questions about different ideas, but I haven't brought them to life. So you guys are actually putting your ideas into action, just leveraging the tools around you, and I don't think there's anything kind of wrong with that. I'm not sure if that like completely answers the question that
Not
you
wrong
were.
or right, more like how much can you rely and lean into that?
I get what you're saying. Like, if you talk to ChatGPT long enough, you'll think you're the king of the world, or the queen of the world. I think you can't fake the results. Like, you can go build a company, and if you're bringing in no revenue, you're like, oh wow, I'm not actually going to build $1 billion company. And so by coming in person, getting feedback from people, and seeing if you actually have customers is what helps. And I know that might be too short of an answer, but hopefully it helped.
I think it's also just really important to remember that AI and all these models, they're just tools. They're not going to help you bring your business to life. That's the human part of it, and that's where you guys come in, I come in, right? AI is taking over the legal industry right now as well, right? There's hundreds of different companies coming out there that can review this, review that, do whatever, and everyone is afraid in my industry that we're going to be all taken out of jobs. I actually disagree, right? I think the part that lawyers are needed more than ever is the human connection, right? I understand you, and I understand how you think because I've worked with you for a long time. I understand you as a creative, right? ChatGPT or any AI model can never understand. They're going to never understand that part, right? How you've done your previous deals, right? I'm going to understand where you are in your life at this moment, and so I think that human connection is always going to be there. AI can certainly help me in my, as a tool again, but that's really where it stands, and that's it.
So, I also had a question, maybe back off of what that gentleman said over there, because I was okay. So, I know like the House of Creators talks all about the intersection of culture, creativity, and AI. So as AI becomes more people in creative and business spaces, what's something deeply human that you believe technology can't replace, and that you personally will try to protect or lead with as a founder, because this is the future. So it's just, do we accept that this would lead us, or like do we still have our own human capabilities of what makes us human at the end of the day? I'll add to that. AI can never replace the human interaction and emotions, and I think this ecosystem that I've been building is like an example of like counteracting that. I really believe that I've gotten most of my most major opportunities from an in-person conversation and an in-person relationship. I feel like that's carried my career entirely. Like I can see the difference of when I am home and I'm living on the internet and the amount of work that I get versus me going and networking. It's like it becomes nonstop when I'm outside. So I think that's an example of, y'all have anything to add? Or does anyone else have a question in the audience?
Hey everyone, my name is Brian. Thank you all for all the nice words you said. I just had a question on one of the topics I was speaking about earlier. All three of you were saying that every creator has their own timeline and a process to become successful, and it's really important to stick on that process. You were given the example of Kaisnot. My question is, how do you know when it's time to maybe change that process and change what you're doing as a creator? You were giving a great example about how some of the best creators you know get into these brand deals and they really start to leverage it. How do you know as a creator, it's time to start leveraging this, it's time to go really deep in it? The reason I ask that is because of AI and because of social media, we see a lot of creators doing a lot of different things and a lot of different ideas that you might get from AI. How do you know it's time, I need to stay on track with what I'm doing right now, or maybe I should pivot or go a lot harder into a certain lane?
I can just quickly say, I think surround yourself with people that you trust and value, right? Such as your lawyer, or if you have a manager. Oftentimes the creators that I work with have managers that are really understanding the pulse of the industry and the pulse of other creators in that same space, and they're gonna help guide you through those steps. At least I don't expect you to know every answer, and I certainly don't know the answers as well, but they're gonna have a good kind of area, a good way to kind of guide you through that process. So that's my quick kind of, the way I would look at it.
I would say like setting goals too for yourself, like surrounding yourself with good people, but also setting personal goals. I've seen a lot of people saying like, hey, maybe I should quit my full-time job to lean into this fully. Like, depending on your financial circumstance, that may not be the right direction, but it's just like, hey, maybe I take this 3 months from now, this will be 20% supplemental to 30% to 50% to 80%. If you're making that traction, then maybe it is the right time to like make that move. So it's like kind of judging, setting your own standards and your own goals, but making sure that you're progressing towards those. But it's hard to say like what's the right goal for one person in one specific sector, but.
Yeah, because everybody's term of success is different. Some people might have 600,000 followers and think they haven't made it at all, and some people might have 10,000 followers and think that they've really, really made it. So that's what makes it such an interesting question, because you might think about different directions within your creative career at different moments within your creative career.
100%. And you also don't know the financial circumstances of the people that you're kind of competing with as well. So it's like they might be doing brand deals and actually like losing money, but they're being supplemented by family or something of that nature. So it's hard to compare. It's always like apples to oranges a little bit. So it's like, I would set your own goals and then surround yourself with great people, and then making sure that you're marching towards those objectives and being candid with yourself when you are and when you're not.
I think too, like pivoting when you, like if you're following the economy and the market. So like think about during the pandemic when we all had to go inside. We had to learn how to create more digital content as a creator. Then you had TikTok boom. So it's like, okay, what can I do to enhance my creativity to follow the market? And from Web3 era, we're going into AI. So as a creator now, you have to use AI tools to evolve. So I think that's a good indicator as well. Is there any more questions around this subject? Okay. All right, so I have one last question for Anuj. Could you share one legal and IP step for a creator to take immediately?
Good question. Immediately. I feel like I've already said it. Yeah, that's why I was trying to think of something different than that. But yeah, trademark, create your business, your LLC, hire a lawyer, not me or anyone else. There's a lot of really good lawyers out there that want to help content creators. I think a lot of people discount content creators or influencers. Myself and my firm and my colleagues have done the opposite, and we've leaned in as much as possible because we truly think that content creators and influencers are the next gen good clients of ours, but also they're the ones that are selling brands and their products more than anyone else out there, and they're the ones that are least protected, and we want to make sure that they are protected. They're making a lot of money as well, and they need to surround themselves with really good people. So just finding really good people to trust, and again, part of that means creating your business, getting your trademark. Another really big important thing is getting really good insurance. Super, super important. A lot of folks forget about that, but when you're creating content, you're creating IP. You have to get really good production insurance, E&O insurance, things that folks sometimes will forget, or they're like, it's a little expensive. Those things will come and haunt you in the future, right? Because a lot of those brand deals that you're signing are also saying that you're gonna be held liable for all of the stuff you've created, right? And most folks will just sign that easily and forget about that. But then you don't even have insurance, and these claims could be massive, right? Copyright infringement, for example. If you just look at the Copyright Act, you can look at the statutes and how much that would look like. So just some very basic foundational business protection on the legal side is really important.
Do you recommend separating your operating and your IP LLCs
That's a pretty complex question. It depends, right? I would say a lawyer's two favorite words. It's going to depend on your specific instance and how much content you're creating and IP you're creating. I would say early stages you probably don't need to do that, but eventually if you have a lot of really good IP that you're licensing or selling, or brands are like buying X product or whatever, or you've created a CPG brand and that obviously needs to be separated out from the rest of your LLC and the other IP that you have.
Hi, my name is, well, first of all, thanks to the entire panel for all of your time and knowledge. My name is Nane Asewa Asewoku, and I'm a fashion artist, global art designer, and kind of like a creative technologist. I was wondering about the beginning stages of actually like pitching, I guess, or like maybe cold calling for brand deals. When you're first kind of establishing that or attempting to establish that type of relationship, what are your opinions on the limitations of what, or like the level of your IP or your creative idea that you actually submit? Because you want to like submit something good to them in order to get their attention, but also like you're like literally just sending it out there to get their attention, so you don't know if they're like seeing it or like once you kind of send it out, it's out there. So I was wondering if you had any good strategies when you maybe, like for me personally, I'm not like as active right now on like my socials as much, but I have been accumulating a lot of work. So I have a lot to send out that I think I could like start a brand deal, but what do you suggest in terms of like the process, that first start process?
Well, first off, you should have a great lawyer like Anuj in case somebody does steal your idea. But secondly, I would say that, and they say this in fundraising and with founders and investors as well, they say that don't worry too much about the pitch deck or the idea being taken, because it's more so about the execution. And then if they do take your idea, then you call a lawyer. But that's what I would say.
Can I ask that? So I've actually, the reason why I'm asking is because I've already been through the experience before, and the thing about fashion is not very easily protected because it's considered a utility. So that has always been very difficult for me, just kind of trying to figure that part out. So maybe I should have like specified that.
I would say the other thing is I would work towards warm intros or warm connections as much as possible, because a lot of times you'll find, it's kind of like applying to a job on LinkedIn, or it's kind of like you're throwing it into a black box. But if there's like a warm connection or a mutual intro that you could leverage, they feel more inclined to at least look at it, and if not, provide some feedback. So I try to lean into warm intros as much as you can, as well in terms of those connecting those dots on the fashion side.
Yeah, and I'd add to that and say probably an answer that you won't mind. You just have to, send it over, and you have to just be able to pitch, even if there's no protection. Most folks in the industry will not sign anything that will, like an NDA, for example, that's just not standard to have signed. So there is a level of risk, but to Ilyas's point, it's mostly about the execution of that. And I get fashion is a little bit different, but ultimately there is really no sort of kind of legal principle that you're going to be protected when you're pitching. It's unfortunate. It happens oftentimes in the entertainment industry, right? People are sending their entire scripts or their treatments or their decks out, and they actually, on the other side, they actually make you sign something that says, hey, if a project gets made that's similar in nature, you can't sue us, right? So it's the opposite. They actually make you sign something because they don't want to get in trouble either, right? They're getting thousands of submissions, and the underlying kind of foundation of copyright law is that most things are building blocks of other people's ideas. So there's not very much anything that's completely novel or unique in the world out there. Everything is being built on something else, right? So unfortunately, you unfortunately just have to take the risk.
Is that also in a VC environment, if you're like showing something somewhat proprietary or will they also sign an NDA?
Probably a little different there, where you probably can get an NDA signed if you have like source code and all of that. But if you have like an if you're using some sort of open license and code, then you're not protected in that sense, in that specific way anyway. But yeah, you probably can get an NDA in the VC structure. Sure.
What if your idea was taken, right? What if we're like past SD, your idea is taken, and it's a much bigger entity?
what do you do, like, what do you suggest in terms of, like, do you say something about it? Because, I mean, obviously, like, you should be okay to say something about it, but we're living in, like, a world sometimes where there are risks for speaking out about things like that. And, you know, maybe if you're, like, new, you don't want to be associated with that as, like, your first introduction to the world. So it's a very, like, complex, nuanced way to navigate it. So I'm just curious, like, what do you think, like, in this day and age? Like, do you think that it's something, especially if the person is much bigger and they're more, you know, they are well respected, like, what do you do in that situation?
So again, not legal advice. I would recommend, you're gonna have to use your circumstantial kind of, not evidence, but kind of communication or correspondence that you have, right? You're gonna be able to have to prove that, like, you sent this email or, you know, DM with that information, they responded, they said they would review it, and then something came out that was substantially similar, right? And then you'd probably get a lawyer involved or someone to send over some sort of cease and desist letter to stop using that, or demand letter, or something like that. So I certainly agree that you shouldn't stop and say, let these people use whatever you created. You just have to be a bit more methodical about it, gather all that information first, and then be able to come back with a strong argument that this looks very similar to what I presented to you 2 weeks ago or a month ago in the DM where you acknowledge you're looking at it, and now all of a sudden you have this product out there that looks very similar to mine. That's the way that I would approach it.
Okay, this, you have another question?
I just wanted to ask on top of that, just going from what she was doing. How's it going, y'all? My name is Lamar. I got a deep voice. I just wanted to ask, based off of the conversation that you guys just had, because I see this happen with a lot of creators, a lot of music artists, and just artists in general, in the entertainment and, like, you know, whatever industry that people work in. A lot of people tell us to take the risk, but I feel like the one question a lot of us are missing to ask is, how can we protect ourselves and our ideas when we are making these pitches to people? Because just me personally, it's just my opinion. I don't believe this is a fact, it's just from what I've been seeing. I don't believe that we're actually in the age of it's all about the execution, because somebody's platform could be bigger than yours, and whether the execution is good or not, their platform is bigger than yours. So whether once they do it before you, it kind of just becomes their thing. You could come back 2 months later and say this was my idea, and nobody would care because somebody with a bigger platform or a bigger company is basically telling you, well, you did this already, you don't have any proof or anything. So what would be the best way for us to kind of protect ourselves when we're making these pitches if we don't have, like, a lawyer or anybody with, like, a legal, you know, like, background to kind of, like, help us cover these things?
Yeah, I mean, it's a good point that you raise. I mean, I think this is kind of an old age problem, right? Even with large startups in the VC space, and then some smaller company that had a similar idea. There's no easy or right answer. I would say all you can do is, if you were ideas first are not protected, they're not copyrightable, right? That's a basic tenet of copyright law. It has to be something that's based on a tangible medium of expression. Again, very legalese that I'm talking about, but it very much has to be something that's written down in detail enough, and that is copyrightable. So there's a lot of kind of nuances there. Really good topic if you want to understand more about it, to search it in ChatGPT, and it'll kind of give you a really great breakdown. But ultimately, if you want to protect something, you should copyright it, right? Go to the copyright office and copyright. It's like $50. You don't have to use a lawyer. A lawyer is obviously helpful there. But if you are sending something and submitting something to someone, a script or whatever, a music compilation, copyright it first, right? And then when you submit it to someone, say it has already been copyrighted, right? So those are the basic protections that the law provides you. Those would be the big things there. And then, so that's probably the main thing that I'd recommend. And then some of the stuff that I told you, right? If even after the fact someone uses it, well, then you have to use kind of the defensive strategy and then decide, hey, do I send in a demand letter and show them how they used it in, in their work or whatever. But that would be after the fact. Up front, at least, protect everything, right? And again, I'm not recommending you have to use a lawyer every time. Lawyers can get expensive, so try doing that on your own. And the Copyright Office and other places have made it user-friendly for that purpose because it can get expensive.
I also wanted to add to what you had said, especially when it comes to the pitch deck. I would not recommend, I don't know, because some people may send their entire idea from start to finish. I would just plant seeds of that idea. If you can make a miniature version of your deck that doesn't show the entire vision, but
but just the seed of that vision, so that way they're not taking, if they do run it, let's say we don't have one, right? Let's say we don't have those resources, some people are blessed, some are not. And just an example, like an instance for myself, like I did have that mistake of sending my entire idea and, you know, learn. But what I did learn over time is that if I just, you know, plant the seed first, like, hey, like, what do you think of this? A drop of the vision, not the entire thing. So if they do run off with it, it's kind of like half done, and then you can come out with that idea, and you'll be 10 times better than whatever they stole from you, that seed. And with that seed, let them respond, show interest, and once you have the conversation of interest, then you can start sending emails and then signing things like, okay, well, we can talk, but you know, I would need you to sign that. So you kind of, it's like a hook and, I don't know. Yeah, you know, it's like the term to do that. Yeah, I don't know the term, but.
I wanted to add something to that real
line
quick.
sinker.
Yeah, that's a great point, and I should have been more clear with that too, is that I've had so many ideas stolen from me. I can't keep my mouth shut. Like if I see a founder, I'll be like, you should do this, and this. And 3 weeks later, I'm like, you're telling me the same exact idea I was telling you, and now you're trying to sell me the best for you. So this happens to me all the time. I've had a lot of ideas stolen from me, and you just either get used to it or you move correct from that point on. And so now, you know, there will either be an NDA or like Johannes is here with me right now. Him and I started a music tech company years ago. We had an intern come in, she worked at a really big music company. She came in, she entered, 2 weeks later, she dropped the same exact company and I was furious. And Johannes and I were just going off the idea of just like trusting her and she seemed like a sweet person. And I mean, it drove me crazy. But for the longest time, and one thing that somebody told me, like one of my mentors at the time who was, I actually met at one year events and Johannes got us introduced, but he told me, he's like, if they stole the idea, then they don't have the same passion as you and they won't stand in the game as long as you will. Like if you really love this idea and you believe in this project, you will go through anything. You might not be able to pay rent next month, you might not be able to walk next month, but if you truly love this idea, you will stick through it. When it got tough for that person and they quit their big company job and they couldn't pay for what they wanted to be able to survive, guess what? They went back to work in that job and him and I were still working on our startup. That's the difference. And so you are right, you should do what you can, and I've gotten better, I've learned from messing up a lot of times. Do the NDA, or to your point, when I give an idea, I'll still give it because I can't help myself, but I'll be a lot more limited with it. And if you want me to keep yapping to you, well then there's a price that comes with it, and give me some equity. Otherwise, I'm not helping you anymore. But that was a great point to bring up because I'm sure a lot of people could learn from the. It's important to push back when people are like giving advice, and so thank you for doing that.
No problem.
Just wanted to add to it, I think the one pager is a great idea of sending out just a brief snippet before you send the full document, and also keep as much control over your deck and your information as possible. Know who you're sending it out to, and just don't send it out willy-nilly or password protected is another way to do so. Just make sure everything's documented via email or via some kind of communication way that you can kind of trace it back to the source.
Yeah, and the last thing I would say is, if you have like source code, for example, or you're working on a tech product, also use the law to your advantage, right? There's trade secret law, right? Which means if you keep things, I'm going to be very basic about it, there's more nuances to it, but if you keep something in a lock and key, like literally lock and key, and it's only on a need-to-know basis with certain people, you don't have to pay anyone. You're given that right under the law, that it will be protected under trade secret law. Right? And a lot of companies use that upfront when they cannot afford or do not want to get a patent, right? For example, patents can cost you $10,000 to $50,000 depending on the entire process. So they'll use trade secret law to protect you in that instance, right? So if you kind of use those, I guess like free resources to your advantage, that could also help in those steps as well.
Okay, this wraps the panel. I would love to do a group pic with everyone, with us panelists, and still take it to that angle. But is there any more questions before we wrap? We're gonna take a picture now. Everyone's ready? All right, guys. Thank you all for coming
Everybody will know Oh, they got the spam too. Oh, text, and image. So this text, and then the image, and that was it. The text I could have made it a little bit lighter, but he put the text in. Mine looks a lot better. Yeah. The Microsoft guys.
got that wrong. Thank you. Somebody said I can't see anything. Let's do one more time. 3,
Like you always had that energy. I told myself that I want to have all my shit together, so that way when I have a kid, I can make sure they shit's right. I told niggas, when you have a kid, like, my credit score is 100, everything is expensive. You gotta set up your legacy for it. I feel so wasted.
Name. There's something we just talked about when it comes to AI. Shout out House of Creators.
I'm gonna give you a quick hit. So we're
Hell yeah, niggas still stream on this. Yo,
yeah, they streaming right now.
Oh, it's live.
Yeah, it's live right now. Wait, let me see.
I think it stopped. They stopped.
Nah, it's still going.
Oh yeah, it is. It is.
It's still going.
Venus, do you want to do one?
Yeah, I don't want to drive. Like, I'll do you a sketch. I'll try. I'm just saying the internet's broken. Or idea people like us, or people that work in I'm just asking. It's that simple. We do this, we do that bullshit. Send it to a client, see what they think. And this is like in a visual format that looks like we spend a lot of time because they're super real. It's okay to wake them up and be like, yeah, I think you might be super real. But then you're the guy who's probably super real. Otherwise, let them fucking when we talked to AI experts the other day, they said we have no idea what the fuck it is. Because I just thought that, and I'm like, hey, what do you guys think? What do you guys think? How many results do you see if you're on my library right now? How many results do you see originally West Sheffield. How yourself? Alright. Why? Swap it. You grew up in Jersey too? No, you gotta. Wow. Where? Upper West Side? Where'd you go to school? Out of here. My daughter is special education. She's supportive, trust me, she's shy, I wanted to go, she's a Brooklyn, so I wanted to go small, like 200 kids. She's rocking it. I want to go to big, I want to go like either like Carolina, UNC, or Virginia, like big public schools. I like MIT. I like that. that's what she's all worried about. I mean, that's what I'm yeah.